Hey, what's going on everyone? In this video I'm doing a review of the Sony BDP-S6200 3D Blu-ray media player with built-in Miracast, DLNA, and of course 4K upscaling for your video content. Now starting with the front of the device, you have the Blu-ray drive which supports CDs, DVDs, and of course Blu-ray discs. And to the right of the Blu-ray drive you have the LED notification which basically displays the current status of what the Blu-ray media player is doing. And over on to the far right you have the first USB port which has a protective flap, and as you would expect from Sony, this is a very attractive looking device. Unfortunately, it is a dust magnet, so do expect a lot of dust to build up on top of it. And over on the left and right side of the device you have no ports at all, and over on the top of the device you'll notice that there's an assortment of technology logos and supported apps, well, some of the many. And of course on the bottom right you'll notice that there's an eject button and power on off button. Now over on the back of the media player on the far left side you have the attached power cord. Now do keep in mind, if you do plan to put this on a power bar, the device does not automatically turn on when the power bar is turned on. So for power bar users, this is a pretty good media player option. Next to it you have the digital out coaxial for audio output, and over next to that you have a LAN Ethernet 100 port for wired internet connection, an HDMI output port, and the second USB port. Now keep in mind that for video output all you have is HDMI out, so if you have an older TV that doesn't have an HDMI port, do not buy this media player. As for the remote control itself, it's not the most comfortable I've ever held, but it's relatively comfortable nonetheless. And also due to its compact design, it's actually easy to reach most of the buttons one-handed. Now of course you have special buttons like different input buttons, power buttons, a dedicated Netflix button, and of course an assortment of navigation buttons which makes it very easy to control the media player. Now moving on to the most important part, which is the software, there's a few things I want to mention very quickly first. The first thing is the apps available that you see on my media player, like Hulu for example, will vary depending on the region you live in. So if you live in Canada, you will not get Hulu Plus. These will vary depending on where you live. Furthermore, I'm currently using a wireless connection, and please do not ask me how strong is the wireless card signal in this media player, because there is a built-in wireless adapter in the media player. I can't answer that question because it depends on how strong is the signal strength from your router, how far is your router, how many walls are in between the media player and your router. So the wireless signal will depend and vary. Now over on this, the interface side of things, you'll notice that it looks very much like the Sony PlayStation 3 interface, which Sony calls this the cross media bar. Not the most attractive, but it's simple to navigate. You have subsections which are labeled. So here's settings, for example. You can set up your network easily, or you can configure it more specific if you have more technical things to sort out. System settings, music, it's just a very generic system settings, and of course software update. And then of course you have photos, which allows you to look at photos. So if you have a USB stick plugged in, you can filter the media by photos, music, and video. So of course here you have my network, which doesn't work well with this media player. This media player doesn't support networks too well, and here's the problem. It supports Windows Media Center, but the problem with Windows Media Center is that it doesn't support MKV files. Now of course I do have Windows sharing allowed, but it doesn't recognize by this media player at all. Now the alternative option was to download third-party software. I have LG Smart Share, which is originally for my smart TV, but it works with this media player. Unfortunately, even if you try to share MKV video files on that application, the media player won't recognize it. It'll say it can't play. But MKV playback on a USB stick is fantastic. In fact, playing media on a USB stick, this media player can handle it all. Now I'm going to put a list of the supported media files and codecs taken from the Sony website. I'm going to put it in the video description. Be sure to expand it and check it out. But I can confirm that the most popular file types, ones that I use especially, such as MKV, MP4 with H.264 codec and DTS audio, subtitle files like SRT, AVI files, DivX files, XVID files, JPEG, 3D pictures like MPO files. They all work on this media player fantastic, especially if it's plugged in through a USB stick. So then of course you have music. Again, these apps will vary depending on where you live. You have Pandora as one of the more popular ones. Slacker, you have Music Unlimited, which is a Sony service I'll get into. I'm going to skip video just very quickly and go over to recommendations, which is just random junk that's recommended to you based on nothing. It's just recommended for no reason at all. The Sony Entertainment Network section basically allows you to access and stream Sony content. And of course, that Sony content will be videos in Video Unlimited app, which I'm using now. And if you go to Music Unlimited, obviously you can stream music, but there's a cost associated with music and video playback. Now moving over to network, you do have a built-in web browser, and this is a dual-core processor media player, but the web browser experience isn't that great. Using the remote control, it does work, but it's a horrible experience. It's very slow and laggy. I'm using the remote right now. You can plug in a USB keyboard and mouse because there are 2 USB ports on this media player, but again, it's pretty slow and laggy experience. I recommend you just use a computer, laptop, or tablet. Now, of course, there's a Facebook application, which I'm not going to log in because you see my stuff, but it's a pretty horrible experience. It's slow and laggy. Again, use your phone, tablet, or computer. It's a much better experience. Opera TV Store basically allows you to access applications for the media player. Now, I wanted to mention that the web browser opens in about 2 seconds. The Opera TV Store opens in about 10 seconds, but this is not a application store. It doesn't allow you to download anything to the hard drive of the media player, unfortunately. If I go to AccuWeather, it allows me to open it from here, but I can't download it to the media player itself, unfortunately. And what you guys are seeing right now is Miracast. I'm literally mirroring what's on my smartphone to the Blu-ray media player. Of course, the smartphone, as far as I know, has to be Android, and your Android device, phone or tablet, must support Miracast. So that's a very important dependency. And of course, the media player and your smartphone or tablet must be on the same wireless home network connection. So I can literally mirror what's on my smartphone. That's what I'm doing right now. Of course, I don't recommend video gaming because I tend to lose a connection and it lags like crazy. Just simple functions like, displaying the weather or maybe checking Facebook and then mirroring it. So we're done with input, which is screen mirroring, which I just showed you guys. Now I'm going to go over to video, and this is a very heavy section. And in fact, I'm going to just scroll through this list very quickly because there's way too many to go through. If I stopped and went through every single one, I'll take about an extra 20 minutes. So I'm just going to scroll up quickly, but I'm just going to name the more popular services, which is Flickster, Yup TV, MLB Network, NHL Network, WWE, the NBA streaming services, Hulu Plus, Amazon, Vudu, Netflix. I'm just going to show you the more popular services that are available. Okay, so moving on to the YouTube app. It's not a great experience. This is YouTube Leanback, which has been updated slightly from the Google team. I don't like it. I find it to be a little laggy, just a bit. But it has the basic functions. You have, categories. You can sign in. You can, whatever's being played on your device, you can just stream it straight to the TV instead. And of course, you have the search function. And what you guys are seeing is just me reviewing the HTC One M8 on my YouTube channel because I'm playing a video from my YouTube channel, of course. It can be very clear. And of course, you have your very generic commands. You have play, pause, forwarding by 10-second intervals, or of course, rewinding in 10-second intervals. Next video, you can go to related videos and whatnot. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get this to play back in 3D. Some devices will allow you to play YouTube in 3D. This is one of those cases where it's not possible right now. Now, something very important to mention is that this media player will try to upconvert 1080p to 4K footage. Now, I don't have a 4K TV, but I have seen it work in the store, and it works pretty darn good. If you have like a Blu-ray disc, which is originally in 1080p, and you upconvert it to 4K, it's very impressive. It looks pretty good. But if you have a smartphone footage and it's in 1080p and you try to upconvert it to 4K, it'll look a little bit better than its original, but not that great. And what you're seeing right now is the Hulu Plus app, which takes between 15 to 20 seconds to open. It kind of varies. And the interface is what you would expect from Hulu Plus. You have TV, movies, categories, shows that I watch, recommended, popular shows and clips and segments. And of course, you can always access your queue list as well. Now, if HD content is available on Hulu Plus, the output of the video is pretty good. It's amazing HD quality, of course. Using the left and right button on the remote will allow you to fast forward and rewind. And of course, pressing the middle button will allow you to play and pause the video content. The responsiveness is pretty good, not as good as Netflix because Netflix has better video compression, but it's good nonetheless. And of course, if you just press the up button, you get a few other options available: stop, autoplay, and of course, quality. Now, this wasn't available for a long time for me. I think the software update recently on this media player has allowed it to work a lot better and allow video quality of bitrate streaming, which is very good for people who have slower connections. What you're seeing now is the Netflix app, and the interface that you're seeing wasn't originally available because what happened is I purchased this media player months ago, and finally got around to reviewing it now. But in between that time, I received a software update because originally the interface of the Netflix app was pretty bad. And this is what you get now. It's a lot better. It looks very heavy, but the media player can handle it very easily. You have your generic stuff like search, kids mode, profiles, settings, of course exiting Netflix. Then of course you have your generic stuff like you recently watched. And don't watch Don John. It was horrible. I turned it off after 2 minutes because it was that bad. Anyway, moving along, you have categories like 3D because this is a 3D media player. So you do have a 3D section, which is kind of limited for now, but it is available. Popular and top picks and whatnot. So the Netflix app is very attractive. It's a nice change from what it used to be. I almost forgot to mention that the Netflix app usually opens at a consistent 20 seconds. So sometimes Hulu Plus can be a little bit faster. Not a big deal, but it is a little bit noticeable if you're really comparing, if you're really looking out for it. Of course, when videos playing back the Netflix app, depending on your connection, again, it could be blurry, or if you have a really good connection, it can be very sharp. HD content is amazingly sharp on this media player, as you expect from Netflix. Of course, going left and right is the same commands as Hulu Plus allows you to forward, rewind, and of course the middle button, which allows you to play and pause and select a certain scene. And I mentioned that you can play 3D pictures if you have MPO files. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that because this video is being recorded in 2D, so it doesn't matter, but it is supported. That's what matters the most. And what you can do is, of course, take your 2D content video and play it back, and it looks fantastic, of course, if it is recorded with a very good camera. And of course, Blu-ray disc playback is a fantastic experience. After inserting a Blu-ray disc, it plays in about 5 seconds, like automatically starting up. And of course, I'm able to press the fast forward button 3 times in a row, in which I'm able to fast forward 3 minutes per second of real world time. And of course, you have the next track button and previous track button. So playing Blu-ray discs, DVDs, CDs is blazingly fast and amazing. Now, there are some other options available which I wanted to show you guys, which is pretty cool, is of course a 3D menu. By selecting this, I can actually take my 2D content and make it into 3D by using the option called Simulated 3D. And what this basically does is allow you to take your 2D content and turn it to 3D, but you can actually adjust how much depth do you want. So of course you need 3D glasses for this, which should have came with your TV anyway. But basically what you can do is adjust how deep you want the 3D effect to be. Be warned that for some people, the deeper the 3D effect is, the more it might be blurry and give you a headache. This will vary from TV to TV and person to person. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give this media player an 8 out of a 10, and here's why. Now, there's a few things that I couldn't squeeze in the video, which I'm going to mention now. So if you want to read the pros and cons here on the side, be sure to pause the video, read them properly. I'm not going to talk about them too much right now. Because the things I want to mention is that there is a remote control app available for Android devices, which doesn't work that great. It's okay. I still recommend using the remote control that comes out of the box. Furthermore, people might be wondering about hard drive capacity. How large of a hard drive can you connect? I've connected 1.5 terabytes. It worked, but very slow to read the data. I tried 3 terabytes and it flopped. So it depends on the hard drive capacity and how many files are on the hard drive. So it'll vary. I recommend just using a USB stick and you're good to go. Now the big question here is the price tag. Can you justify purchasing this Blu-ray media player? Because it ranges from $160 to $180 in Canada and America. That's very expensive. If you're a hardcore home theater enthusiast, I would say perhaps, because you're getting the Miracast and the 4K upscaling, but then you need a 4K TV to justify that, which is a very expensive cost on its own, the 4K TV. For everyone else, you could probably get away with the BDP-S6200, which is one level lower. I will be reviewing that very shortly when I get my hands on it, and I assume it's going to be very similar because I have reviewed the one that's one level lower than the 6200, but from last year, the 5100. It's very confusing, but rewind the video and listen to me again if you have to. So I'll put a link to the 5100 review in the video description, and when I have my hands on the 5200, I'll be sure to put that video review link in the video description. It's like $60 cheaper almost, and it does almost the exact same thing as this media player, but I have to review it so you guys know the full details about it. So again, if you're really hardcore into your home theater, maybe you want to purchase the 6200. It's a pretty solid device overall, but very expensive. So that's my review of the BDP-S6200 3D Blu-ray media player with 4K upscaling and Miracast. I hope it helped someone out, and if it did, be sure to check out my Facebook, Google+, Twitter links in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.